Hey, it's Rachel. I'm a guilt-free positive parenting specialist bringing relief to helpless, overwhelmed parents who want to raise responsible, confident children without adding more stress or guilt to your life. Today, I'm going to talk about what to do when your child only listens when you yell at them to do something. So let's say you've asked your child to do something like get dressed so they can go somewhere on time. Maybe it's school or a doctor's appointment or wherever it is. My guess is that you start asking them to get dressed in a very calm, respectful tone. But then when they disrespect you by not listening, you start to yell. And lo and behold, when you yell, they listen, but not before then. So of course you yell because it works. But you may not like the way your house feels when there's so much yelling. And you may also notice that while yelling works in the short run, it doesn't actually motivate kids to do what they're supposed to do in the long run. Because the next time your child has to get ready, you're still going to have to yell to get them to do that. Yelling doesn't work because it doesn't address the fact that there are reasons that kids only listen when you yell at them. One of the common reasons that kids don't do anything until you yell is because they've become conditioned to know that they can ignore you until you yell. One child admitted to me that their parents' yelling was like an alarm clock that finally woke them up, but that until that alarm clock sounded, they knew they could continue doing what they were doing. At the same time, children need to know how to do what they're supposed to do without needing you to yell, right? So the solution is to demonstrate that you mean what you say without yelling. So here are tips for depositing into kids' accounts and toolboxes. Tip number 1, when you want a child to listen to you without yelling, use actions instead of words. I suggest coming up with a consequence ahead of time for what you will do if a child does not listen the first time you ask. And I would, as soon as they're old enough, get your child involved with deciding what this consequence is going to be. And once you decide, just follow through. No words are necessary. So for example, if your child has a problem turning off the video game to go get shoes on for soccer practice, perhaps the consequence is that you turn off the video game. In the moment, instead of reminding or yelling, just go over and turn off the game. If you feel you absolutely must say something, keep it short and respectful. Something like, I understand you're upset. I did what we discussed that I'd do. Nothing more. Because as the phrase rightly says, actions speak louder than words. Now, tip number 2 is the tip for what you can do proactively, which is to find out why they're not doing what you're asking. I've talked about this before in other 2 tips in 3 minutes videos, but it's important to realize that sometimes kids don't listen because they don't have the skills to transition from something they enjoy doing to something that they don't care that much about. They literally don't have the brain development to control impulses and handle frustration. But we can teach them to do those things, and once we teach them how, they cooperate so much more easily. So if your child won't turn off that video game, proactively teach them how to transition by asking them to tell you about the video game as they walk away from the game and toward their shoes. Give them opportunities to transition from things that they enjoy doing, and give them the tools to comfort themselves when their discomfort arises. So maybe when you ask your child to come in from playing outside, she needs to learn to focus on the next opportunity she'll have to play outside again as a way to comfort herself from the disappointment of having to come inside now. The key is to give your child the tools they need to do the thing they have to but don't want to do. I hope those 2 tips give you some ideas for what to do if your child only listens when you yell. If you want more information about how to motivate your kids to listen to you, ask me about the Parenting by Deposit program, where I teach you how to raise kids who feel good about themselves and make healthy choices, even if you're not a perfect parent and never will be. I'll see you next time.